Hey, you guys, I'm going to tell you a thing about the MoP Remix, my thoughts on it. I want to hear your thoughts too. If you guys have been watching me streaming it on the second channel, you know that I did like 8.5 hours of streaming on Friday and another 7.5 today. I'm loving it. All right, TLDR, I'm loving it. But I have some thoughts on it that are more than just me gushing over it. But I do want to say it is my favorite, most cohesive version of World of Warcraft from the second you start a character to, whatever the end of that character is. Now, I get it. We've only played, I played like 25 hours or something like that, whatever. Maybe not even that much. But between the PTR and now, I think I can say it is definitely my favorite version of WoW ever. I love Mythic Plus. I love really any competitive element. I love Blood DK. I'm still able to play Blood DK, and I think that's part of why I like it so much. It's not like, like Classic or something like that, where it's like a whole different class paradigm and a whole different process of playing the character. It's the same Blood DK, just with a very fresh take on it. And I think the thing I like the most is the fact that I start playing a Blood DK and immediately start having fun on the character. I've never really leveled Blood DK. Like, I've never really played it that way. I never really enjoyed it that way. It's not something that I look at from the ground up and think, oh, this is a very fun character. I'd like to play other specs instead, like Enhanced Shaman, Rep Pally. These things are really fun to level, but it's not at Mythic Plus, So for now, I'm very satisfied with what I've done on my Blood DK. The problem is there's not really a lot of like challenging content, quote unquote. And I think that's perfect. I think that's actually perfect in my eyes because it yet again is another compliment to Live WoW. I said the same thing about Classic for years now. It is the perfect complement. Like Classic is like an intensely casual experience. You can just chill and do whatever the hell you want. A very good solo game as well. Whereas Mythic Plus, you're forced to play with other people, forced to deal with the rigmarole, as you guys know on this channel. It's something that's enjoyable and it's funny, but it wears on you after a while. Like I cannot stream 8.5 hours of Mythic Plus. No way. It's very, very, very difficult for me to do. It really gets on. Like it's just a lot of tension and there's a lot of stress, and it is difficult. You know what I mean? Whereas MoP Remix is not, and I think that's why it's so enjoyable. It's just pure exploration of WoW. I'm not a huge transmog, or I'm not a huge mount guy, but I do like collecting transmog too. I've gotten a million transmogs without even trying. Like you get so much. I got that backpack. Oh my god, the backpack! It's the best. I finally got it from Valley of the Four Winds. It's the backpack. It's got a little chicken on it. It's got like a pot and a pan on it. It's my favorite item in the game. I'm so happy I finally got it. But that brings me to my biggest criticism of MoP Remix, and that is it is pretty bad in terms of getting the actual objectives in front of you at the time you're supposed to be dealing with them. So what I mean by that is in Dragonflight, if there is questing, at launch, you're going to deal with a bunch of people, but the quests nowadays are made in a way that you are not fearing those other people. There was a time in this game where even another player tagging your mob might steal it from you. And if you play Classic, you know this. That's not necessarily happening in MoP, but it is close. It is causing you to really have a lot of problems with competition. Even I chose like what I found to be like the smallest RP realm. I don't know that that really matters because all the RP realms are like tethered together at this point, but I chose what I believe to be the smallest realm population period anywhere, and it's still a mess. I cannot get rare kills. That's the thing that's really made me the most frustrated. I want to get all the achievements. If you guys don't know, on the second channel, I'm doing a 100% playthrough, meaning I'm going to get every Mista Pandaria remix specific achievement. There's a lot, and I don't know. I assume they're giving achievement points. I'm not really sure, but I don't really care. I'm just doing it because it's enjoyable, and I want to play the Death Knight and have fun with that. But one of them is to kill rares in all the zones. And this is kind of a mess, honestly. I don't know exactly what the cooldown or like the respawn on the rares is, but I remember in MoB it was quite long, and it doesn't seem like it's changed because I have not been able to kill. I killed one rare in Valley of the Four Winds. You need to kill 3 to get the achievement, and there's only like 7 or something like that. And I cannot. I've now tried 4 or 5 times, even logged out camping some of them, and they are not there ever. So it's bad, and I think Blizzard needs to work on this. But it's not just rares. Like I was saying, there's questing and a lot of elements like something that you might need to loot on the ground that is not shared. Whereas in Dragonflight, that same type of quest is. So obviously they didn't take the time to go back and like change all these things. And that brings up like the idea, like, oh, will they do more of these, right? So, like I said, I love it. I love it. Will they do more of it? I honestly don't know if they will. Should they do more of it? Yes, but will they? I think the reason I don't think they will is because this is more work than it looks like it is. Yes, they didn't add any real new content. I mean, they did, but it's very, very minor new content. It's just like dragons in the world that don't have any real purpose. Um, there's almost nothing new about this from the gameplay perspective. Obviously, the systems are crazy, like the gems, the tinkers, all that stuff. That's a very good system, and I love that. I wish that's just how WoW worked. Like, literally, if that's just how WoW worked, I would probably never log off. If I could farm, lesser content to empower my character for Mythic Plus. I mean, that was what Titan Forging was. Yeah, I like that. But this is just better. This is just way, 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 way better because it's not as random and you could actually feel like you're making tangible gains, but it's very grindy. I think most people probably don't like that. I like that. I like having something that I can log in and do every day. But anyway, digressing. But so the reason that, these systems are not in, like, they're not just, they just show up, right? Like Blizzard had to make them. And that's, not zero work. But the real reason that I will say that I don't think they will do it again is because they're so much tied to the absolute width of content in Mists of Pandaria. We have achievements to complete the Dominance Offensive, achievements to complete the Timeless Isle stuff, achievements to complete the Isle of Thunder stuff, achievements to complete all the Siege of Orgrimmar content. Basically, every major patch added more and more world content, right? Whereas in Dragonflight, what did they add? They added like random nonsense, like the incursion, the fire camps or whatever, the suffusion camps. Like you know what I mean? There's nothing there. What's it going to be an achievement to do a suffusion camp? Like it's not like it used to be. The world mattered a long time ago, and Mob honestly is an exception because Wrath, fucking nothing. It's awful. So them doing Wrath would be just as bad as them doing Dragonflight in my eyes. But my point is that it's the perfect expansion for it because at one point there was probably more dailies in MoP than there was like quests at max level in any other expansion ever. And now the game is shifted in a different way where these quests are more for just fun or very small, like a cosmetic reward, like we have with that Torn quest in Dragonflight. It's not like your end game. Now you have will quests. You know what I mean? It's different. So I don't know that they would. Like people keep saying Legion, but like Legion's end game loop is not questing. It's Mythic Plus. It's raids. It's world quests. It was achievements. Like it was artifact power. The order halls, like things tied to stuff that isn't in the game anymore. So they could do it, but I don't think they will because like this is the perfect formula. And what's more, that might not be immediately obvious, is all of the stuff that is now lucrative about it, like the bronze idea is really, really, really good. It doesn't necessarily directly tie back to MoP, but the mounts and the collectibles, they all tie right back to MoP. And probably like 50% of them are just stuff that's already in the game, like the different transmog sets. I have no idea why you would buy these things. You can literally go get them. And the raid is on a daily lockout right now. Please don't waste your time. Just go do the raid and save your bronze and buy more interesting stuff. But they brought back a lot of toys, a lot of stuff that was removed or stuff that you would not normally have is now there. MoP is also super rich with toys. I feel like it must have been one of the first expansions that toys were a thing, right? Because there's a ton of toys. Like just doing the campaign, I've forgotten how many toys and how many small collectibles you get. But it is the perfect expansion for this. No other expansion has this width of mounts, right? Like you could say like something like Shadowlands had tons of mounts. But what are they going to do? A recolor of the recolor? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it didn't have that unique feel to it where it's like the Siege of Orgrimmar mount now has a recolor. And that's like a badass looking thing. You know what I mean? But, like, I don't know. I just don't really see any other expansion having that width of content where the dailies are there. Because, like, you can level in, say, Crassering Wilds. And while you're leveling, you could be doing the Dominance Offensive dailies. You could be doing the Temple Red, like the Red Crane, August Celestial dailies. Same thing in J Force. You'd be doing the Cloud Serpent dailies while you're leveling. Like this works in Chromie time in Live WoW too. MoP is the best experience for it. They even removed some dailies, right? Like the Golden Lotus dailies have been long removed, but even from Chromie time, they removed the tillers. I think that's the name of it. The dailies in the middle of the Valley of the Four Winds. All those cooking things, those are all removed because professions aren't in and the farm and stuff doesn't work. I don't think the farm works. There's any way to do it, but maybe there's some one or two quests for it. I think on the PTR there was like one or two quests, but most of them were gone. But yeah, regardless, it's just the perfect expansion for it, and it's already demonstrated that in Chromie time. But there's one other expansion I think it would be perfect for it. Classic. I think this could be a perfect opportunity for them to reintroduce the original zones. I've been begging for them to do this for years now since they announced Chromie Time. I think that would be the perfect indication that Chromie Time would succeed is if they actually gave you a shard of Azeroth and Kalimdor that is no longer in the video game. I'd love to see them do that with MoP too, to be fair. Like I said, with the Golden Lotus dailies, that is because the Siege of Orgrimmar patch destroyed the Veil. I was watching a video. I made a video from back in MoP comparing the old Veil to the post 5.4, I think at 5.4 Veil, and I had to close it. Like it was making me upset. It's really sad how they ruined that zone. They went all in on this Garrosh destroys the world theme, and it didn't work. Let's put it that way. It ruined a great, great zone. Thankfully, the other zones are not ruined in this way. But yeah, Garrosh had way too big of an impact. I think in general, like WoW has a big issue with this, where they destroy their own content. I mean, they did it in fucking Dragonflight too. Those Suffusion camps, just like you fly through Azure Span, and it's like just peaceful, calm, whimsical, snowy out. Oh, it's great. Zakali! And it's like this character is just like screaming. It's like, what the fuck are you even doing here? It's like a boss from the raid. She's dead. Like, I mean, like, it's just get this nonsense out of the world. Stop doing this. Stop wasting. Like, I don't want to ruin the. You worked so hard to build the zone. You did it. It was great, and then you took it away. And Cataclysm did that the most, right? Ironically, Cataclassic. Like, we're back. We're back in the same situation now where the great version of WoW that everybody asked for is gone. And in the retail world, we're still battling this. Hundreds of transmogs, mounts, pets, especially if you're a collector of patterns. There's hundreds, maybe like close to 1,000 patterns and things that professions would be able to make that are not makeable or are very hard to make now. And a lot of those would be collectible transmogs resulting from them. So those things, they've been slowly kind of drip feeding them back. We have a great video on the Scholomance and Naxxramas stuff. If you're unaware, they actually added back old Scholomance, the classic version, which is a fucking huge step forward. But I would like to see them just go all the way and just do a classic remix where it is the different zones, the original zones, and everything's back. You could make like the ZG mount back, you know what I mean? Like fucking 100,000 bronze, like something big time. I don't know that they'll do this, but I think really the only other like MoP is just a gem. It really is. The music, the zones, the atmosphere, they're so unique, but also the world content is so unique. It's perfect. It's perfect for this. I know a few people, not many, but I know a couple people who didn't enjoy it. And I think my thoughts on the people who aren't enjoying it or who said they didn't enjoy it more so, it's not for everybody. You have to enjoy the core formula of WoW. And that's why I think a lot of people, like I know a lot of people, I was originally worried that this was just going to just kill Mythic Plus, like just going to slaughter it. But it's now I'm realizing it's like, and then I'm doing these dungeons where people are doing like 15k DPS. It's obviously not the same people who are playing both. They're for different audiences, and that's great. And that's why I was hoping the people who enjoy the classic, style of the game would enjoy MoP Remix. But I think the gearing and the kind of progression of it all is a little too different for a lot of people. But I think that this is a really nice product if you're somebody who likes collecting, who likes any type of actual progression from the ground up, who likes a leveling challenge, any of that. So if you guys haven't seen, I'm doing it like crazy on my second channel. That's going to be down below. Otherwise, stay tuned. We are back with Mythic Plus, I promise. We're not abandoning it. We'll definitely be streaming, hopefully 4 days next week, depending on what keys look like. If they're like super dead, maybe we'll talk about it. But I should be good. We looked at keys this week, and there's still plenty of people doing keys. So let me know what you guys think about it. If you've done it, if you have done any of the actual collection or anything like that, what your thoughts are on it. What are your thoughts on the gear progression? I got big plans over on the second channel, but for now, enjoy it while it lasts, man. We got like 90 days of it. It's awesome. You never know if they're going to do something like this again. And it is truly one of the most unique things they have ever done for a while. So thank you for watching. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this. Otherwise, we will see you again. I got another video coming tomorrow back on Mythic Plus stuff. Stay tuned. We'll see you guys there.